It's an accurate ranking.
So speaking of Newbury Park, this weekend, I was looking at college NCAA marks, and I was kind of, before we get to Newbury, I was looking at. I was like, remember when I said Ole Miss DMR is going to be good? Remember when I said that on Friday?
Bold take,
Well,
but yes, you had it first.
when you look at their roster, they have 9 guys on their active roster with both indoor and outdoor eligibility who have sub 4 PBs to their name. Some of their PBs are 1,500-meter conversions, but like Mario Garcia Roma has run sub 4 in a mile, but he just has run a faster. He ran 3:35 in a 1,500. So I put his faster PB there. But 9 guys. A lot of them are transfers. James Young is a D2 transfer. I believe Shane Bracken is a D2 transfer. Corcoran is a guy from overseas. But yeah, and then the rest of them are just returners. But 9 guys on one team who can run sub 4 in a mile. I just was basically projecting it's going to be the year of the Ole Miss Milers. They're going to run a lot of guys who run sub 4 in the same race this indoor season. And they're running at Penn Relays. And so I tweeted out, Penn Relays can't come soon enough. And lo and behold, a certain Sean Rosnan responded, they should let us, Newbury Park, in the 4x mile. And quickly after that, you had Everett Smulders says, you don't want our smoke. And Sean responded like, we just want the challenge. And then I tweeted out from the FloTrack handle, Newbury Park at Penn Relays ? And then Sean responded, if they let us in. So we know that Newbury, the California team, wants to come to Philadelphia. Can we make this happen, Kevin? Can you and me make a Newbury Park 4x mile happen against the college kids? And the first question I think people need to figure out is like, how good would they be, right?
Because let's put one bit of context out there. You mentioned the team that you think is going to be the best in the NCAA this year and listed it, right? Not just any team in the NCAA. So Newbury Park doesn't need to beat Ole Miss or even be close to Ole Miss to either break the high school record, which is one goal, or beat other college teams. You know, I'm going back to the whole, could Bama beat an NFL team, right? That whole debate. It's like, that's like saying, could Bama beat the Chiefs? Like when they won the Super Bowl. It's like, that's not what we're saying here. We're saying, can Newbury compete with these collegiate teams? And they obviously can. So we got the marks up here. These are converting 1,600 to miles from last year. 404.
Those marks aren't 100% accurate. Because I looked it up. So
okay.
Yeah, Lex and they've all run sub 410. They've all run sub 410. Like Aaron Solomon, he's run a 409. He's run so I don't know why those 100% aren't accurate, but basically Solomon, the 3 younger guys, the 2 Leos.
I got him here. I got him here.
Oh, you got him?
I got him here.
Okay.
404, 407, 408, 409 is what I have.
Okay. Yeah. That was all last year. And you imagine they're going to be even better this year. So maybe update it. Maybe this will make it better. I don't know. Anyway, it's a weird. I think maybe their mark wasn't run in California, and we're on mile split California. That's probably why. Because the mark wasn't run in the state of California, maybe. I don't know.
Regardless, they're fast. They're faster last year. They're fast last year. They'll be faster this year, we assume. Yeah.
Yeah. I think that Colin Solomon is going to run sub 4. Like, he is legit. He can run 357, in my opinion. I mean, their 5Ks are going to convert to 1340s, 1350s. These guys can do it. I think they're 357. I think the young brothers, I think they're 359 to 401 guys right now. And I think the fourth guy, Aaron Solomon, is probably like a 405, right? So I think they have a 357, 2 4 flats, and a 405.
All right,
obviously, this is going to be enough to break the national record of 1704 set by Utah. I think it's the Casey Klinger team. When they got 1704. This team can run in the 1620s, in my opinion.
Okay.
You want to say
you're just automatically giving everybody a 7-second PR just because they got older. I mean, they're great. I think they're going to PR, But I don't think automatically we can lop off that much time because when you're that good, it's really, really hard to improve. And then also when you're looking at it in the context of a 4x mile, it's going to be hard to run at your PB. The first runner is going to have the ability to run with folks. Maybe some of the other people are going to get to run with people, but they're going to go a tick slower. I think they're obviously going to be competitive in the collegiate side of things. This is a good thing about track. It's numbers, right? Like how many teams have this many guys that are going to run that quick? Ole Miss is an outlier. They're one of the best
Yeah.
teams in the nation. If you pulled the, hey, here's the team that's going to get uh, who's like 15th best with milers, the times would be a lot more realistic. Like it's you tried out the best team, and you were doing it not to make a point about Newbury Park. You were doing it to make a point about Ole Miss. Hey, these guys are good. This should be the favorite for the
Yeah.
DMR. So that shouldn't be the point of
4 by mile.
comparison.
Yeah.
4x mile, excuse me. I think of it. Let's put it in the terms of the 4x1 here for a second, because I think what we've proven throughout the year, like we said, Newbury has three of the top guys in the nation and four in the top 10. So if you go back and you say, all right, this is essentially an all-star team, right? If you
Yeah.
had an all-star team of 100-meter runners, how good would they do? So I went back to 2019. So if you had a high school team of bowling, Micah Williams, so it's 10, 11, 10, 21. These are all wind legal, automatic timing. Keenan Christian, who ran 10:30, Langston Jackson 10:30. Those were the top four guys in the 100 in 2019. Of course, they would beat a college team. They wouldn't beat LSU. They wouldn't beat Texas A&M. They wouldn't beat Houston. They wouldn't beat Florida. But like a 10-1, a 10-2, and a couple like 10-3 lows, like they could beat college teams.
Yeah. An all-star high school team can beat many college teams. Is basically
Yeah.
that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah.
100%.
Right.
They're not going to beat them all, right? They're not going to,
Right.
like you said, not going to beat the LSU's and A&M's the same way Newberry won't beat Ole Miss. But Newberry, I think, could be finished top 5 in a Penn Relays
Depends who shows
four
up,
by
but yeah.
mile.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I think regardless of who shows up, I think once they're in there, I know you. These guys are fat. Like we're talking about sophomores who ran 408. If you're a sophomore in high school, you're like 16 years old and you're running 408, and then you follow it up by running Dathan Ritzenheim type times in a 5K, like a
Mhm.
few months later, they are gonna. I mean, I think they have 3 sub 4 milers this year in 2022. Like I'm just going with that. So I think they're better than what they're going to be on paper. I think they're going to be a 16-20, 16-10 team. And yeah, not many teams even can run sub 16-20 in the history of the 4 by mile. We rarely
Mhm.
ever see an all out 4 by mile, like a 16 flat where everyone's 4 flat. But uh, I think if we had them in that race, everyone's going to want to watch it. They're going to want to watch,
Yeah.
wait, can this team win? They won't win. But like, hey, can they get top 3? It's going to be freaking history. And if something crazy happens and they have Salmon on the anchor and he's in it with like 800 to go, people are going to go nuts because you're like, all right, they have a 357 guy and they're still in it. Yes, he might not beat a 353 guy like Garcia
Yeah.
Romo or anything like that, but like you like their
Yeah.
chances. You have a 357 guy on anchor. Now, clearly the kicks of college kids are more developed, they're stronger. Likely they're going to be able to outkick a high school kid, but hey, Hobbs Kessler was better than pretty much every college kid out there. And he was in high school, right? There's high school kids
Yeah.
out there who are just great talents. And we've never seen a world where the 3 best high school kids are all on the same team so they can be on a relay
Right.
together. We just never seen it.
Yeah.
And why
That's
not
that's my
experiment? Why not figure out a way to get them at Penn Relays and let them like shock the world? It would be amazing.
that's my point, is the fact that you never had this collection of talent, and 17, 18-year-olds, they're fast enough to be competing with 19 and 20-year-olds. The problem is they're all spread out over a bunch of different teams. I'm not
Yeah.
going as far as you. I'm not automatically saying they're all going to, snap their fingers and improve by 6 or 7 seconds, but I think they'll improve enough. and they're at a good enough starting point to where they're going to beat some teams. They're obviously going to smash the high school record, which I think would be the first priority for them. Let's get in a race where we can actually get competition. And how many 4x miles exist out there that could give them competition in the entire world? This is probably one of the only ones.
I mean, you look at someone like Aaron Solomon, who's their fourth best guy. He's their fourth best guy. In cross country, his fastest mark, his 3 mile mark was 15:07. He ran a 3 mile in 15:07.
You're talking about last
This
year.
past season, he ran a 3 mile in 13:42.
Yeah.
So he's getting a lot better. So if you go from 15:07 to 13:42, what will
Yeah.
a 4:09 become? I think a
Yeah. Listen,
4:09 will become a sub 4:05 at least.
I know, but as you get better, it gets harder to drop off time. And going from a 404 to a 357. Actually, I'd be interested in that stat. How many people in history have gone 404 to 357 in one season? It's got to be pretty small. Um, I guess Webb dropped a lot of time down to 353. Now that I think about it, yeah, I want to see it. I mean, who wouldn't want
What's
to
the
see this? This is
fastest
a
sub 4 debut? That's a good stat. What's the fastest sub 4 debut?
if you know, send it in. I would be very curious. But you have to have run like a legit mile before that. You can't have been just
Yeah.
running 1500s and then
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
oh
yeah.
wow, I'm a 348 miler. How about that? My
Oh, that
330
ain't bad.
1500 gave me no indication that I'd be at 3